Good morning, everyone. Am I ready? We are ready. Thank you. Thank you. So for those of you who are joining us this morning, we wanted to welcome you to Dallas City Hall, first of all, to our guests. And thank you for all being here to help us kick off the 2022 National Customer Service Week. Today, this is really about you. We want to celebrate you because all of our employees, you are the ones who make customer service happen every day in the city of Dallas. And you help us focus additionally every single day on building this culture, service first. As you may know, our city manager introduced this message of building a service first culture during the same time that we rolled out the values of service. Well, that was back in 2017. And ever since that time, we have continued to work to make sure that not only do we realize that, but that culture shows up in what we do day in and day out. So this week is perfect timing for us to really take service first to the next level and ensure that not only do we talk about it, but we put service first into action. When we think of service first, we should be generous, we should be courteous, and how we treat all of our residents as well as our stakeholders. Whether they be our fellow coworkers, our residents, homeowners, businesses, vendors, contractors, it really should not matter. We should always be serving with that first culture in mind. Now, Southwest Airlines, you all have set the model, and we know that when it comes to the best in customer service, you're at the top of the list. And so, again, we want to thank you for being here and sharing with all of us about your culture of hospitality. Hospitality is not a word that we normally associate with public service, but service first is about being generous and friendly and welcoming and warming to whoever we serve. And we can demonstrate that through our daily actions and how we listen and how we understand those who we are serving. And so our goal around empathy is that we can never get too busy, never lose sight of why we are all here. So we may think that we're not in the hospitality industry, but again, hospitality is how you make others feel welcoming and how they feel valued. And so when you add public service and hospitality together, I believe that's a pretty good combination. Southwest, just like the city of Dallas, we want to hear from you. You have that candid ability to address your customers and their concerns. And we thank you for continuing to be a trusted partner in the city of Dallas and making sure that you remain here in your home city. So we're here to learn today, we're here to share. And today would not be possible if we did not have our city manager, my boss, T.C. Broadnax. So at this time, I'm going to bring Mr. Broadnax to the podium, and he will spend some time and share some comments with you as well. Again, thank you all for being here. This is my copy. There you go. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the kickoff event for National Customer Service Week. In 1992, the United States Congress officially proclaimed as the first week of October National Customer Service Week to recognize the importance of customer service and customer satisfaction in the success of organizations and the role that individuals play to make this happen every day. This year's national theme is Essentials to Success. At the City of Dallas, we believe creating a service-first culture, which is essential to our success. Service first is the delivery of responsive and proactive services to meet the needs of Dallas residents 365 days a year. We know that you are working hard every day to be responsive and proactive and that we want to take this time to say thank you for all you do, particularly around lifting up and building our service-first culture to make Dallas one of the best places for local government employees to work. Our service-first culture is rooted in our values, and we set those out shortly after I arrived with the city. Empathy, ethics, excellence, and equity. As Kimberly Tolbert indicated, we lead with empathy. We need to demonstrate compassion by listening and understanding our residents. As you know far too well, this city and community has struggled, particularly as it relates to how our residents feel this local government is responsive to their needs and their plights in life. And I'm really glad to demonstrate that in many cases, they are talking to me when I'm out in the community and trying to hold us accountable, particularly when we don't live up to the empathetic ways that we should be providing service. Ethics, we need to say and do, and then have our actions reflect what we say and do it with the highest level of integrity, and be transparent and open as we provide services to this community. Excellence, again, that goes and should go without saying. Strive to be the best, continuously improve, and as I often say, figure out who's doing it good and do it that much better than them and tailor it to our city government. And then equity. It's been the word that's been spoken, I think, more so in the last 5 years than I've been told has ever been spoken in these particular walls of this building. And I know our council as well as our community continually remind us when we're not being equitable and we don't meet their needs when it comes to paying attention to how to make sure that they and their kids are successful and have the same opportunities to thrive as we hope everybody, regardless of their zip codes, have in this city. And I will tell you, starting today, I'm excited about adding a fifth E. And as you see here, and obviously it wasn't a big reveal this morning when you got on the elevators, we're going to add the fifth E of engagement. And we want to seek intentional connections in our community. I think we've been trying to do that. I think the things that are going on in our community, particularly over the last 2 years, and then what we've got planned for this year will speak to that, and us being honest about having those interactions with people that really come in with an open mind and an open heart and trying to find a way to connect with them to be more responsive and to move our city forward. So what does intentional connection in our communities look like? It's about preparing yourself to serve by being engaged in your work every day, getting re-engaged. We've been reading a lot about this quiet quitting and all those things that I don't know where we come up with these new things at, but it's reflective of how people feel coming out of the pandemic. And so we really need to make sure we're engaged in our work and holding our coworkers accountable. It's about being connected to our mission and motivated and fulfilling the delivery of services based on what people think we should be doing. It's about meeting people where they are, as I've said before. Engaged employees begin a day with a sense of purpose. And I don't know how many of you can raise your hand and remember back when you first started with the city. We've got some folk who've been here a while and some that are relatively new. And I know you all signed up for this work, not because it was going to be easy, it's because you wanted to give back, right? And you really wanted to do something different than just profits and losses that really so much reflect what goes on in America today. But then there's somewhere and somehow in your journey, and I'm hoping it's not too late, that what you run into in some organizations is folk that don't feel like that 2 years in, 1 year in. They've lost a little, I call it, brightness in their eye that made them want to engage when they got there. We got to find a way to get that back. And I think the source of that energy, quite honestly, comes from our community and how we engage, how we understand their needs, how we understand what they're missing and why we signed up for this. And so I'm hopeful that engagement and the intentionality of it will really break through and really re-energize many of our employees to do it in the way that they thought they should in the beginning, but somehow it didn't marry up like that once you got in this organization. And so I'm really excited about building on the foundation of why folks signed up to do this work. And so you need to build an action plan for yourself to re-engage, to then be successful at engagement at the level and the expectation, I think, of what our community is in need of today. You've got to be accountable to yourself for that success in your engagement endeavor. And so to strengthen our essentials to success and support our efforts to further operationalize Service First and the culture that we want to have here, we have activities planned this entire week that someone in HR will come up and share with you as we go through these proceedings today. And I want to personally thank and invite, first of all, how many people were on the team that planned this week? Can you raise your hand? Listen, I want to thank you for your efforts. I know y'all been hard at work, and I want to personally invite you. Thank you. I want to personally invite you to attend the City Manager's Open House this Thursday between 3 and 7 at City Hall on the 4th floor. And you'll get to meet some dynamic people, I think, that have worked very hard to support all the things that I'm talking about today. It'll give you an opportunity to meet that team. And as always, we got to bribe you with snacks. There will be some games, and you'll have a chance. Now, here's the kicker. You'll have a chance to win lunch with me or a choice of lunch with any one of the other executives that is not me, but I know you want to eat lunch with me because it'll be so much fun. And so now the highlight of today's festivities, though, is our guest of honor, Mr. Steve Goldberg, the Senior Vice President of Operations and Hospitality of Southwest Airlines, who will share what hospitality looks like at our favorite airlines, Southwest Airlines. And although we know we are not technically in the hospitality business, we often hear the customer's always right? So you can color it what you want, but we really are. We are a customer service-based organization. But the same attributes and skill sets to build our service-first culture really center around hospitality. So Mr. Goldberg serves the world's finest operations employees by overseeing the strategic planning and operational execution of Southwest's ground operation, cargo and charter, and customer support and service teams. He also champions the hospitality efforts of all Southwest employees and serves as the company's emergency response director. With more than 25 years of experience in the airline industry, Steve joined Southwest in 1996. I was in kindergarten then, wow. As a customer, I'm joking, as a customer service agent in Las Vegas. Since that time, he's had the joy of leading people across Southwest operations. In 2013, Steve assumed the responsibilities of Managing Director of Ground Operations, moving to the Vice President of Ground Operations role in 2014, and assuming his current role in 2017. At Southwest, they define hospitality as making sure their employees and customers feel welcomed, cared for, and appreciated. Steve is doing groundbreaking work to ensure hospitality and operational excellence are a part of every employee and customer experience at Southwest. Steve, thank you for joining us today, and let's give Steve a warm welcome.
Good morning, good afternoon. It's close to afternoon. Thanks so much for having Southwest here. TC, Kimberly, thanks for the great introduction. And you guys got me going right off the bat. You're speaking my language with some of those key words that I'll talk about. And it's really exciting to be here with you all today as hospitality, service first, but really talking about the interaction, and TC, I love your use of the word engagement. It is a key part of hospitality and customer service. So we're excited to be here, especially during this week, Customer Service Week. I'd like to give a shout out to both the City of Dallas team and our hospitality operations support team from Southwest who put all of this together. So thank you for your hospitality, very much so. So we're really excited to be here with you. Make sure I got this working here. Okay, there we go. Just to kind of brief lay the foundation for what I'm going to talk about today. Most of you, I hopefully heard about us. Dallas is, bottom line, Dallas is home for us, and we're excited to say that proudly every time we get to talk about it. Love Field is our home airport, and we're really proud to partner with you guys to talk about hospitality and customer service. So Southwest started in 1971, really simple flight pattern here with 3 cities in Texas, and fast forward to today where we're in over 100 cities in the continental U.S., South America, south of the border, in Central America, Mexico, the Caribbean, and flying to Hawaii now. North of 65,000 employees with over 700 aircraft. What does a busy day look like at Southwest Airlines? Well, a busy day looks like transporting about 600,000 customers, somewhere in the neighborhood of 250,000 bags, with 4,000 flights a day across all of those cities. So we are the largest domestic carrier in the continental United States, and we're excited to continue to grow around the country and internationally in the future. But where did this all start? I love the engagement of talking about people and getting people engaged and talking about hospitality. As many of you know, Colleen Barrett, our president emeritus, the first female president in the aviation industry, had this famous quote years ago that we're in the customer service business, we just happen to provide airline transportation. And it's a great way to set us up, and it's a great way to direct our people that we are in the customer service business, we are in the hospitality business. And that's our primary goal, is to take care of our customers and our employees. And it's a big thing to us. And for years, we lived in the customer service world. We called it legendary customer service. And it really set the foundation for where we are today, driving our employees to take care of our customers and balance the needs of our customers and Southwest Airlines. And then back, say about 8 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago, we had really heart-to-heart conversations of, instead of resting on our laurels, how do we continue to improve? And how do we continue to make an impact in the customer service / hospitality world? And we started down this path of hospitality. And at Southwest, we define hospitality where we create an environment where employees and customers feel welcomed, cared for, and appreciated. Much of the same words that you heard from TC and Kimberly just a few minutes ago. But we formalized this for our company. And it's a little bit different than customer service, and I want to take you through that to show the difference. And this was a big switch for us. And I'm going to be very transparent here. It took us a few years to understand the difference between customer service and hospitality. And I want to share a few of those thoughts with you today. The one thing I want to key on here, though, and I hope you all noticed it here, if you notice the word employee, that comes before customers. And it's purposeful. Because at Southwest and through our DNA, through Herb and Colleen and Gary and now Bob Jordan, if we're taking care of our employees and putting them in a good position to be successful, they're going to take care of our customers. And that's really the basis of hospitality, and it's just really important that we give equal time to our employees and our customers. This is one of my favorite slides that the team came up with. And I really want you to take a look at it if you can see it. And I'll walk through a couple of the key words in here for me. And this is where you really get to see the difference between hospitality and customer service. The key point is here, you can either get good or bad customer service. On the hospitality side, you either receive it or you don't. So this kind of chart illustrates that. So look at some of these words where you talk about hospitality and the positiveness of it. And when you think about the definition of hospitality, it's creating an emotion. It's creating a feeling in the person or people that you're serving, whether it's an employee or a customer. You are creating a feeling for them. You want them to feel something in your interaction. And when you think about the hospitality side of being proactive, of above and beyond, connection, the ability to empower and personalize an interaction. And I like to use the word connection versus interaction because it's connecting with the person that you're dealing with. Versus the customer service side, where it really feels more transactional. And this is where, I mentioned earlier, it took us a while as a company to understand these differences. And I was really excited to hear both TC and Kimberly talk about two of my favorite words of all time. And the first one is listening, and the second one is intentional. And those are two key words, whether you're talking about good customer service or hospitality, that are fundamental. You think about our world today, it's really difficult to listen through one of these, right? Think about the last time you engaged with somebody, eye to eye, have a conversation, and the ability to just listen to what they're saying and provide constructive feedback. Or think about it the reverse way, when you were talking to somebody and you can tell maybe they weren't listening to you and you get crickets on the other end when you're wanting them to engage back with you. In my opinion, it's really a dying art, that ability to listen and focus. And it really sets the foundation for hospitality. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. The other word that I'll key on here is empowerment. When I started 27 years ago at Southwest Airlines, I remember this conversation with my leader, and it holds true to today, that Southwest entrusted me and empowered me to make decisions on behalf of the customer and the company. And we do that till today. That feeling of empowerment, where an employee has that ability to go do what's right and balance the needs of the customer and the company. And sometimes it's going and erring on the side of the customer. And I remember this statement this leader said to me, and I remember it like it was yesterday. He said, "Steve, 99.9% of the time you're going to make the right decision when it comes to something like this. And by chance, if you don't make that decision, the right decision, we'll sit down and we'll talk about it and we'll figure out a path forward." But that confidence in an employee knowing that they've got that ability to make a decision and set a customer on the right path is really powerful to the employee. It really puts them in a different position and at a different level to provide hospitality and good customer service. So, as I mentioned, it took us a couple years to get this message across to all of our employees. Back in 2014, 2015, we have a group known as the President's Council. And they're a group of frontline employees that represent all of our frontline operations that would come in and meet regularly with our CEO and our top leadership of the company. And we tasked them with this challenge to say, hey, how do we get this message out and how do we connect with our employees to really understand the definition of Southwest hospitality? We created what we called was the hospitality wheel. And it's really just a simple visual that drives home the message of hospitality. And there's 5 tenets to it, where we welcome, we engage, we serve, we appreciate, and we do it all over again. And my favorite part of this is the center part, and I'll get to that in a minute and see if that relates to you. But I'll walk through these just real quick. We welcome, we acknowledge simple things, make eye contact, use a customer's name if it's applicable, but really just make a connection with an employee or a customer. And I think that's an important thing I can't reiterate enough. This is both internal and external. When you walk through this, we engage, we connect. There's that word, listen. We're intentional about listening. We're complimentary. We serve. So how do we fulfill a fellow employee or a customer's needs? And how do we meet or exceed their expectation? We appreciate. Recognition is a great thing, and it's a really big part of customer service and hospitality. And we drive a lot of internal recognition to make sure we are recognizing people when they do things really well. And then we do it all over again. But as I mentioned, my favorite part of this wheel is the center part. And I think it can relate to you. How do you be an advocate for the people that you serve? Right? Think about that for a minute. Whether you're dealing internally or externally, and you have a problem, and you're trying to get it solved. And think about that engagement with somebody that has a vested interest in helping you. You're going to want to go back and deal with them again, or you're going to want to go back to that place of business and frequent it again, right? And what's the opposite of that if you don't get that feeling? You go somewhere else, you may not interact with that person again. But being an advocate is one of the most powerful things you can do in the hospitality customer service world. And it's something that, as you know and you experience, I experience it every day. And let me lay this, we are far from perfect at Southwest Airlines. We are always trying to improve ourselves. But think about that impact of when you can advocate for the person that you're serving and exceed their expectations. It is really powerful. So we got this message out, Julie, I think about 2 to 3 years it took us to really get the organization understanding hospitality, understanding the differences from just providing good customer service, but creating this environment and creating this feeling in the people that we serve. And just before the pandemic, we were getting ready to kick off another evolution of this hospitality wheel. And we called it Next Level Hospitality. So how do you take this basic foundation and challenge ourselves and take that to the next level? So we came up with Next Level Hospitality with basically 3 tenets. And it's pulling from the hospitality wheel. And the first one is the connection. And you heard TC talk about that. And it's so important of how you can take that connection to the next level. And it's not hard. It's as we mentioned before, it's a warm smile, a friendly hello, using a customer's name, showing a vested interest. And that really wins people over. How do you not only meet expectations, but how do you exceed expectations? How do you set people's expectations and just floor them? And it's just taking things to the next level. And my favorite one, and I'm proud to say, our employees at Southwest Airlines are really good at this one. It's captivate. And that's when you win a cohort or a customer for life. It's truly going above and beyond that ability to connect and exceed, but it's captivating them. And I brought a few examples here today, and I love these two. So on your left is a couple celebrating an anniversary, and I'm not sure if you can see it good, but they've got pretzel crowns, and they've got a toilet paper trophy with some stir sticks in it. But it's our flight attendants just taking the time and captivating this couple on their anniversary. And probably my favorite, this is one of my favorite of all time. It's one of our ramp agents playing rock, paper, scissors with a young person through the window of the airplane. And think about the impact that made on this individual for years to come and his family. But just taking a couple of seconds to do that, it's taking that hospitality to the next level. So when we think about our customers, we brought some quotes here that just give you a sense of what this hospitality environment creates. And we love to hear from our customers, particularly talking about our people. And this first one on the left, whether it's across this country or around the world, when people think about proactive, energetic, joyful customer service experience, we think of Southwest. The freedom that employees are given to engage our customers and show their own personality makes all the difference. The greeting and smile when you get on board, it makes your day. You can overcome so much with attitude. Leave the bad attitude somewhere else. As you can see from those three quotes, there's not a lot of investment there. It's just people treating people with how you want to be treated. And it's really important. The simple things, the easy things, make a difference in the people that you're dealing with. So as you think about, how do we continue to maintain and exceed in this area of our business? We think about a lot of things all times. If you have so many things that are important, really nothing's important, right? So we went back to our foundational roots, and we went back to this simple visual of our Texas Triangle when we first started. And we created a philosophy, and we call it our operational philosophy. And it's based off that pyramid. And at the top is safety. We will never compromise safety in anything that we do. And in the middle, you see hospitality. And we'll never compromise hospitality, but hospitality touches everything we do. And on the bottom corners of the triangle are low cost and reliability. So it empowers our people to balance our goals with never compromising safety, always providing hospitality, but managing the needs of the company and the customer with balancing low cost and reliability. And this visual is posted everywhere. It's in all of our cities, it's in our break rooms, it's near time clocks. And it's really a reminder of how an employee should go about thinking about their day. And it's all centered around safety and hospitality. And it's a simple visual meaning that really takes hold to our employees. So as we think about wrapping up this morning, three things that come to mind. Listen to your employees and your customers. Let them help determine what great customer service and hospitality looks like. And credit to you all today. Being a part of Customer Service Week and kicking this off like this, I think you guys can check that box because it's a big deal. Not all companies will take companies or organizations will take the time to invest in service and hospitality. And it's a big deal, and I congratulate UTC and the entire team for taking the time to invest in this. Establish a consistent understanding, and you've got it going right here, and I love that visual of what hospitality, good customer service, a service-first mindset looks like across the entire organization. And third, hospitality starts from the top, and it works through the organization. And listening to TC and Kimberly, you guys got that. And I'm excited that you guys are on this path and spend the time and investment in here to make this a priority for the city of Dallas. So with that, thank you for having me here today. Thanks for having the team here with you this week. I know we're excited to be involved with you and share everything that we can, and I'm sure we'll learn a thing or two from you. So thank you very much, and if anybody has any questions, I'd love to take a couple. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. If you have a question, please come up to the mic. All right, if not, thanks again for, oh, okay.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for that presentation. I do have a question. So I know you said that it took about 2 to 3 years or so to get the buy-in of the employees of Southwest as it related to the hospitality model. What did that look like? What did it take to get them to, you know, become engaged in that vision that you all have for hospitality and customer service?
So we had a little bit of advantage because we were starting from a really good place, you know, with our concept and thought of legendary customer service. But really to get the mindset shift was really to engage our employees where they're at. And how do we engage them on the front line to talk about hospitality and truly understand what the definition is? And I think that one slide where you see the differences between customer service and hospitality, that was a winner, and it really pushed our folks to understand that they are empowered to make a difference. And they are empowered to create this feeling in the people that they serve. And that was taken through leadership, through the entire ranks of the company, and pushed out. We also have what we call hospitality summits. And pre-COVID, we were doing 4 or 5 a year. I think we're doing 3 a year, 4 a year now. But we actually invested in bringing usually around 500 folks together in a particular city. And we spent 6 hours talking about hospitality. And there was an expectation for our employees coming out of that to take it back to their work groups that they worked in. And it was really fantastic. We just had one a couple weeks ago in Las Vegas. And I was so energized coming out of that because our people get it. And they get the mission of what creating this environment is about. So that's another way that we do it. And the other thing that the team does so good is we are constantly communicating about it. Whether we're having a good day, a challenging day, we're moving through the pandemic, we're coming out of the pandemic, we're always talking about hospitality. It's part of our DNA. And it's just a cadence that you got to build and a muscle that you got to build.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay.
Y'all ask me a lot of questions. I'm a little offended right now. So here's a question for you, and I think, and I don't know if I'll speak for others. You used the word empowerment, and I thought it was very noticeable on the slide about customer service versus hospitality. How do you crack the code to what empowerment? I know what it looks like, and I think people understand what it is, but I don't think they believe it. And upstream, what does that have to look like for folk in an organization to feel comfortable, because they don't feel often rewarded for making decisions and feeling like someone above them is going to have their back and support them. So if you can talk a little bit about kind of setting the stage for how that becomes a comfortable situation for employees at any level, and how management in some cases has to orient themselves to help them understand what it really means, and they have to reflect what it means in their actions and reactions.
Yeah, that's a really good question, TC. And I think it starts with leading by example and creating this environment that I was talking about. It's not just a definition on a page, but that word intentional comes in here. And whether I'm a senior vice president or I'm talking to a manager or a supervisor, we all have to be intentional about creating this environment. And part of this environment is illustrating what empowerment means. And you can't just talk about that, you have to go do it. And we battle this today too, TC. It's an ongoing mission. You have new leaders coming in, coming out, and they have to understand this dynamic that we hire for attitude and we train for skill. And we're putting you in a position to go make the right decisions. And in order for a person to see that, or a fellow employee to see that, they have to observe it. And our leaders have to be intentional about leading their work groups by being intentional about empowering people, allowing people to make decisions, allowing people to bring you ideas, and being able to listen. We've all worked for that boss where you knew you were talking to them and it went one in there and out the other. and it was their way or the highway. And in order to really drive this empowerment, leadership, and I consider leadership, I'm talking at any level. I don't care if you're a frontline employee, you're a leader. You're a leader amongst your peers, you're a leader in your community, you're a leader. No matter if you choose to or you don't choose to. And how I choose to see and be able to do things and empower, I am going to look up to leaders. And it's really important that we drive this environment or this area that you work in to be able to see and do things from observing leadership. And it's a leader is a person that's going to take initiative, and we all take initiative. And it's really important to drive that empowerment.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you so much, Steve, for your
Yes, sir.
for your time today. I wanted to ask, how is it that Southwest Airlines can continue to empower employees and do all that they do in terms of hospitality? What kinds of strategies do you have to maintain or balance cost with all of that?
It's a good question, Reggie. Thanks. You know, I'll start by saying it is a challenge, being totally transparent. And to give you some framework for that, we're at about just north of 65,000 employees. Over 20% of those employees have 2 years or less with our company.
Wow.
So it's a continuing battle to continue to build our culture and educate our folks on our culture and what it means to provide great hospitality. Mm-hmm. It is brought in from day one, and I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Day one, you show up to our headquarters down the street here at Love Field. We literally have a parade. We have a fan fest of a parade. So new hire employees are marched through our training building, and all of us, I don't know, hundreds of fellow employees are there to welcome them.
Wow.
With pom-poms, horns, noisemakers, you name it. And they get the royal treatment. And it's an indoctrination from basically day one that we care about each other. And putting our employees first creates this culture. And this culture of hospitality where it's really important to create this environment. And it starts in day one.
Okay.
And it continues to move along. You talk about investment. We invest in these hospitality summits I mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
They're not cheap. We go all over the country and we do it, 3 or 4 times a year. We have to overnight a portion of those employees. Mm-hmm. But it's a commitment. It's a commitment from leadership of Southwest that this is a really important part of our business.
Okay.
And the return on investment there is enormous. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why we are consistently ranked #1 in the Department of Transportation's customer service rankings. And that's important to us.
Okay.
Yeah, we can be like everybody else and go fly airplanes from point A to point B. But as that slide showed, we are in the customer service business first.
Absolutely.
And we just happen to fly these airplanes. And it's, you may think I'm full of it or it's a line, but it's really in our DNA to take care of our customers. And like I said, we are far from perfect. But the investment from the top down, that this is an important part of our business, we measure ourselves on it. It's on our scorecard. It's on our compensation scorecard. It's on our quarterly check-ins. It is extremely visible to all of our employees. Mm-hmm. And that's been built over years, decades.
Awesome.
So the commitment it's a long-winded answer to your question, but the commitment from our leadership of our company to say, this is important, we're going to invest in it, and we're going to make sure it's a priority year after year,
Okay.
is the basis of it.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Well, thanks again for having us here. We're excited to be partnering with you guys this week and being here to help. And like I said, I'm sure we'll learn a thing or two from you all as well. So thank you again. Have a great week.
Thank you all so much for being here and helping us to kick off this wonderful week of Customer Service Week here at the City of Dallas. I want to just take a special moment to thank our city manager, our deputy city manager for helping us kick things off today. Thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedule, and even just to ensure that we had this week, that we focused on it. I also want to thank all of you for taking time out of your schedules to come and just be a part of this morning. There are so many things that we've got planned for this week, and we want to make sure that everyone here is aware of those things and that you can go back and share them with your team members so that we can make sure Customer Service Week is, it has a significant impact on the organization. Before I do that, thank you once again to Steve and the great information you shared. I also want to just thank the partners that we've been working with over the last couple of months from Southwest. Julie, if you would stand. Julie Boston McGrath, thank you so much for all that you've brought to us and given to us, all the information you've shared. Miss Jamie, if you would just stand. And Sarah. They have been so gracious with their time, with their information. They've been at our beck and call. They have just really contributed so much information to us as we learn their best practices. So again, Southwest, they are the model for customer service. We are wanting to learn from them, but what we're ideally wanting to do is create our own framework. So Southwest has done a great job in what they do and how they did it, but let's now talk to our employees to talk about what Service First looks like for us. We have the definition, we have our values of service, but now it's time to really try to operationalize what it looks like in action. So with Southwest's help, we have surveyed employees to learn what they think about Service First. We're going to take that result and we're going to have focus group meetings twice, Tuesday and Thursday of this week, where employees, and some of you may have been invited, will get a chance to come and share your thoughts, your feedback, your view on what service looks like in action. And so that's Tuesday and Thursday. On Wednesday, we're excited to roll out a refresher of the values of service training. So we've talked about our 4 E's for the last 5 years now. We now have a 5th E of engagement. And so we have revamped our values of service training. We're going to do virtual sessions on Wednesday the 5th, and then next Wednesday the 12th. But then after that, we have an e-learning version of the values of service training that will roll out in about 2 weeks. And all employees, we're encouraging everyone to take the refresher training so that we can just be reminded of what Service First is and looks like, as well as our values of service, adding our new E. In addition to the training, the focus groups will be kind of an initial start of creating the framework. So we're going to collect all of the information that was shared in the survey, all of the information that's going to be shared in the focus groups, and then we are going to compile all of that as kind of our first pass at what our framework looks like. Southwest has the hospitality wheel. And we're at the City of Dallas going to create what it looks like for us based on the feedback that we receive from you all, from our employees. So this is your opportunity to have a voice in what it looks like, and then to help us answer those questions on empowerment and where we go from here as it relates to Service First. So we're going to end the week with a community service opportunity. We have two organizations that have graciously invited us to participate in either feeding or creating care packages. So all of the schedule, if you look on your agenda that was in your chair, there's a QR code. Everything that we have scheduled this week is there. You can click and go to our employee experience SharePoint site, and you'll see all the things that are available to everyone. So we are excited to get this week started. We're excited to have you be the first to hear. Also, we're recording this session, so any employee who didn't get a chance to be here in person, it will be made available to all employees in English and in Spanish. So thank you to our comm team. Thank you in advance, yes. This has been, this event or planning for this week has been a joint effort for so many of us coming together to make it happen. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who has participated, and we are excited at what Service First is going to look like at the City of Dallas from this day going forward. Nina or Kim or TC, any parting comments? You good?
So again, I want to thank Steve and his team again for blessing us today. And I will tell you that one slide, again, the hospitality versus customer service. I got to work on that one right there. But listen, thank everybody for your attendance today. I think we've got some treats in the back. And I just would not be remiss if I did not let everybody know today. We've got a special day today. Today is Kimberly Tolbert's birthday. And so if you get a chance, stay 6 feet, but wish her happy birthday and enjoy. We got some snacks in the back for you. And so again, let's start this week off great and go out and empower folk as well as make them understand why they are here and who they serve. Again, beginning of a new fiscal year, beginning of a new journey for us. So thank you, engage, engage, and engage. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.